Hello everybody, and welcome to Gregg's Vintage Workshop, where I'm usually trying to work to restore history one piece at a time. The reason I say usually is because for those of you who are my subscribers, I owe you a big apology. I haven't been down in the workshop for months, pretty much, since the end of last year. Multiple reasons for that I'll get into a little bit here. I don't usually do flaps, but this is kind of an explanation flap as to where I've been. So, as a lot of you know, last year I sold my house in North Carolina, and that was a big undertaking and a lot of stress that went along with that, but we sold it, made a good profit on it, and I'm done with the house in North Carolina. So got back here to Illinois and got started back on the Philco 41105 farm radio, and that radio basically kicked my butt. You know, it's not that difficult of a radio, and yet I could not make that thing work. Now, when I say I couldn't make it work, it sort of worked. The output transformer that I rerun worked perfectly. I could get the 455 frequency through it. It worked. And the oscillator transformer that I rewound worked as far as electrically the way I could test it. And I guess what I want to do is let me rephrase this. I guess what I want to do is tell you guys I'm not an expert. I don't think I've ever claimed to be an expert. I don't know if any of you watched the videos that Bob and Doug did last year or year before last, where they were getting some of us restoring radio guys on a video conference call. But when they did my interview, I basically told you guys that I'm a mechanic. I was a mechanic by trade, and by being a heavy construction duty technician mechanic, I got into electrical stuff, but nothing like radio. So I have no radio background, but I'm a mechanical type guy, and so I started restoring antiques and things like that, and I happened across a radio / record player, which I'm trying to remember the year now. I think it's a 1947 Philco. I don't remember the model now, but successfully restored the record player portion. Did not have a whole lot of success with the radio section, but it actually got me interested enough that I wanted to pursue the hobby. And so I muddled my way through. I've learned a lot. I'm a lot further than what I've ever been as far as my knowledge of the hobby, as far as my tools to help me with the hobby, as far as support from others that do the hobby, but I'm also my worst critic. I've got probably, I think, close to 180 videos on my site, and I'd say 80 to 90% of those were successes. I've had a couple of failures, but I'm my worst critic, and when I fail, I don't take it very easily. When I did not get this 41105 farm radio operating the way I wanted it to operate and the way I knew that it should operate, I didn't want to give up, because I don't give up easily. I'm a perfectionist. And so I messed with it, and I messed with it, and I messed with it, and I went through the schematics so many times. I found a couple of errors, I corrected those errors. I still couldn't make it work right. At this point, I still haven't made it work right. But it made me doubt myself, and even though I know I'm a hack at heart, as far as this hobby is concerned, as I'm still learning, I felt like I was being a poser to my subscribers, that I was putting off a persona that wasn't really me. So I had to take a step back and decide, was I going to produce any videos again. So Basically, I was being very hard on myself, and I had plenty of time to think about it. My daughter and my son-in-law, my grandson and my granddaughter, they moved in with my wife and I. We have a big house here in Illinois, and so they basically have the upstairs. I have the downstairs. My wife and I have the downstairs. And of course, I have the workshop down here in the basement. And between having the grandkids and my daughter here, there wasn't a whole lot of time for me to be down here anyway. And so I kind of made an excuse to not come down here. I had stuff I needed to do with them. I retired a 2.5 months ago, and I've been so busy with all of my projects that I wanted to do when I was working. I couldn't have time. I've been working on that stuff. But I wanted to come clean and tell my viewers that I have seriously considered not doing this any longer because I felt like I wasn't good enough to be producing videos. But then I started thinking about all my successes. I always dwell on my failures instead of my successes. And I hope with all of the radios and the phonographs and the things that I've done over the last several years that were successes, that I taught you all something that maybe you didn't know, or showed you determination on my part mechanically to try and do better, that where I fail electrically, that you can deal with that. And so with that said, I have chosen to go ahead and get back into my workshop and start producing some more videos. And if you guys want to follow along and realize that I'm not an expert and I'm going to make mistakes and I'm going to have failures, then I certainly invite you guys to continue to watch. But I might not do it right. It might come out not the way that you expect it to be. It certainly will be what I didn't expect it to be, probably. But I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this hobby because I like it. I used to love it. At this point, I'm still starting to like it. I want to get back to love, only because I'm being hard on myself. But that's the nutshell of it, why I haven't been producing any new videos. Another thing I want to let you guys know, almost every video I've ever made, you guys probably saw my orange cat, Moose. And unfortunately, Moose passed away about 1.5 months ago. He was only 8 years old. Got some bladder stones, and when we got him, we had to take him to an emergency vet, and he just was too far gone. Apparently cats deteriorate very quickly, and they couldn't save him, and so I had to put him down. So you won't be seeing Moose anymore in any of my videos or hearing his mouth. But so I lost Moose. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I am going to continue on with the 41105 because I'm taking it in a different direction, and the next video that I produce and put out will be that, showing the radio and what I did to finish it up, because I felt I had two options. I could either make it a shelf queen, as the old 64 goat would say, or I could finish it in a way that it could be used by my family and still look pretty good and still sound pretty good. Or I guess I had a third option. I could just put an M80 in it and blow it all to hell. Decided not to do that. So I've still got plenty of projects. I think I showed you guys last year all the projects I've got. I still got tons of stuff in this house that I need to restore that I haven't gotten to yet. But I'm going to get back into it, and I'm going to start producing more videos. And again, I apologize if I've ever come off that I thought I was an expert. When I start looking at, Ron C. in Florida, and I Don at Restore Radios and Doug and Bob and those guys, I don't hold a candle to them. They have more knowledge in their little finger than I have in my whole brain. I can never get there. I'm getting older, and it's harder for me to concentrate and remember stuff anyway from what it used to be. And so I've got to accept myself that I'm never going to be where I want to be, and accept that that's okay. Like I said, I've always been a perfectionist, and sometimes it's hard to find out that when you're a perfectionist, you're not as good as you think you are. And that was kind of hard for me to deal with. So anyhow, I thought that I owed you guys this video to tell you where I've been, why I haven't been producing videos, but to let you guys know that I am going to be back, and I'm going to start producing some videos. It probably won't be as often as I did previously, just because with the additional family in my house, it's harder for me to get down in the workshop. My daughter is working from home. She's a working RN from home, and her office is down here in my basement, so I can't be doing much talking while she's working, but she only works till 4, so I can come down here in the evening and work, or I can be down here during the day as long as I'm not recording. Anyway, I guess that's all I wanted to say. I'm sorry to burn up so much time making this video for you guys. If you made it to the end of it, that's where I've been, that's why I've been gone, and hopefully that's why I'll be back. So, Gregg's Vintage Workshop, thanks for watching.